the average attention span is 8 seconds. What can you do with that? I've wasted 4 seconds already. Maybe I can capture some attention. In this video, I'll talk about how details are like salt. In the book, You've Got 8 Seconds. It's by Paul Hellman. He's a consultant, columnist. He talks about presentations and making your point quickly. And this book is capturing that knowledge that he has. So one way to do that is to know your audience. This means knowing who you're presenting to, or if you're writing something, then think about who's going to be reading that. You should have a specific audience in mind. In this case, I'm thinking about people viewing this video. What kind of people would stumble upon this video? How did they get here? And I know that this index card has an audience that's currently bigger than mine. Here's an excerpt from You've Got 8 Seconds, back to the salt. So detail is like salt. You can always add more. If others want more, they'll ask questions. But once in, you can't take it out. You don't want to give too many details. If your audience is expecting a 10-minute overview of something, then you jump right into like the low-level technical details, and that isn't good because that will just confuse them. They'll keep thinking it's a high-level point. And then on the other end, if you have a very technical audience and all you're doing is giving an overview, then it's stuff that they know already, and they can get bored easily. And this kind of ties to another book I've been reading, Principles by Ray Dalio. He talks about knowledge and discussions or conversations, and this is an excerpt. He says, understand above the line and below the line thinking and how to navigate between the two. This is a skill. This is a skill worth working on. It's something to practice in your conversations or writing, things like that. This goes to knowing your audience, knowing what details to talk about, and then in a conversation, understanding with the other people in the conversation, like what level of where they are, if the discussion should be above the line, below the line, if it's going a certain direction, and if you want to pull it back up or down. This is another thing from the book. This is something that you often hear about public speaking is tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And in this book, you want to, there's a tip to add another step, and it is to tell them what you won't tell them. This is good too. It's acknowledging certain things. Sometimes you want to address objections when you're giving a talk or presenting something. There's going to be objections in mind, and one way to address that is to point it out and say like, okay, I know you're probably thinking about this, but for this audience, I'm going to be talking about these certain things. And that keeps them from wondering if you're ever going to get to that point, if you just explicitly say like, oh no, this is scoped to this certain thing. And I guess something that I didn't tell you, I could have done this up front, is that this isn't going to be like a full summary of the book, just one part of it. And it is this idea that details are like salt, and that's part of the focus section in the book. And there's two others, so he also talks about variety and presence. So those three things, focus, variety, and presence, are discussed in the book. And check it out. You've Got 8 Seconds. Great book about communication.